Welcome everyone. Hi Phil. Have you all got a glass? Because this is actually about, yeah, it's about balance. You're unbalanced, there's biscuits. Grab a biscuit and
Ek hier koffie en drank.
Koffie en drank.
Ja, dis 'n baie moeilike keuse. Ek weet nie wat 'n sluk om te
beter dan daai keer.
Move it around, go for it.
We decided in this corner that the people drinking non-alcoholic can have the biscuits.
Ja, ouens, die aand het nou net begin, hoor.
Dit gaan op, joh.
Dis julle is te sterk hier die gym. Ja, die beste.
Ja, die alcohol nodig, sien jy? Dit is baie meer styl. Je mag niet gaan maken weer als je zich verdrijft. Wat mag je drinken? Je moet kijken naar wat is over allowed om eens wat ik dan kan doen.
Sorry nie mense verskriklik oor hulle drink goed aan die begin van hulle gym en daai coaching en so van
Thank you so much everyone for coming. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to say that from the start. Des has actually said no questions allowed, so what I say is law. No. I always have a lot of questions regarding cardio versus strength versus stretch. What's important? We're all going into the phase of our lives where we kind of like wanting to have more a bit of a balance and longevity and just have a good quality of life. So there is no one way. I wish there was a manual that, no, it probably wouldn't be good to have a manual that everything works and everyone works by. So there's a lot of fitness advice out there. There's a lot of social media that gives us advice. There's a lot of different opinions. So some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing is what I feel is important. And obviously, the more you drink, the better I'll sound. So, drink up. Refill your glasses at any stage. Every time you don't like something that I'm saying, come fill up your glass. Maybe by the end you'll like what I'm saying. So it really is for me. I've been in the fitness industry most all of my adult life, but even as an athlete from school days. So I've kind of like gathered information over years that I felt works for me, and going into this phase where we're in of, for ladies, perimenopause, menopause, there's so much out there. I think that it's very important that you actually get people that you can trust. And say, for example, you all know how good I am at eating. I love eating. So if I need food advice, I go to Vicky. So you'll know if want to have chocolate for breakfast, then you come to me for advice. Okay. If you want proper food advice, you go to Ricky. So a lot of people have come to me asking for fitness advice or hearing something or seeing something and saying, okay, what is this? What do you think? So at the end of the day, you need to take what works for you and let go what doesn't work for you. Maybe some of the things that I say you're not going to agree with, but at the end of the day, you need to decide, okay, this is what I want to do going forward, this is what's going to help me, and hopefully you learn something in the process. So for me, I've put down a lot of words. I probably won't get through all the words. I might skip some of them, but it helped me to just gather my thoughts in putting some of the words on slides, which will be available for you guys afterwards as well. I have had a lot of people that can't be here, so we're going to try and record it and see if that'll work. Same as it might be so much information and you can't remember everything, then it's nice to have something to go back onto. I'm going to try and not keep you guys too long, say everything in a short and kort en krachtige manier, but it is a lot of information and I might not get through everything. So how do we find the balance? What is important? How important is stretching? How important is strength? I think we're on this train where a lot of people have come to the realization that strength training at our age, all of us, is very important. 21, yes. 21. At the age of 21.
That's very important.
But I think what is important though, so first of all, let me stick to, because that's very important. I used ChatGPT for the first time. I don't like ChatGPT. Yeah, so that was my prentjie. I drew the picture. Yeah, I drew the picture and I took a photo and that's what it gave me. And it's exactly what I drew. So it has its uses. So to get a balanced life takes a little bit of everything, and that for me is what is important in a balanced life. You have your emotional side, which is your friends, your nature, spirituality. You've got your mental side. Alzheimer's and dementia comes in there, which exercise has a lot of influence on nutrition, hormones, exercise, and then sleep and rest. So we're going to be touching on some of it, not all of it. But for me, in my personal experience, exercise actually brings out all of those areas as well. So if you can get focused in an exercise mindset, it aids. You want to eat better when you exercise. You feel better because you emotionally, you get those feel-good hormones. You make friends. It catches your emotional side. The sleep and rest is important. You'll never be able to grow your muscles if you don't sleep and rest. So exercise brings in a whole lot of those things. So we're going to go through some of them. Now, the benefits of strength training, cardio training, stretches, broad over all of them. But if you had to categorize them, this is what I would categorize them in. You might not be able to see from there, but please don't worry. As I said, it's a whole lot of words. But things like bone density, that's what we hear a lot with strength training. It helps your bone density. It enhances your metabolism, better body composition, blood sugar. It boosts your immune system, mental, emotional. It makes everyday tasks easier, your hormone balance. And then the thing that I highlighted there is it protects you against Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. That is new studies that have come out. Because when we train strength training, we're training our neuropath, which is connected to your brain. So that is why they say that if you are doing a regular strength routine, you can actually delay the onset of Alzheimer's, or if that's in the family, if it's hereditary. I have some clients that have it in their family and they know. They have to keep on doing strength training because it's that brain connection that sends the messages to your muscles that is so important. Then cardio, it strengthens the heart muscle. Everyone's saying, oh, we don't have to do cardio when we're in menopause, we must just do strength training. For me, that is absolute bullshit. Okay? You can't run away from cardio, ladies. I know you want to run away from cardio, but you can't. Right, yes, run away from it. I still have very, very strong beliefs in what cardio does to the body. And it brings your heart rate down, your resting heart rate down. there's just so many benefits of cardio as well. It lowers your blood pressure, improves your circulation, reduces the risk of heart disease. Now, strength training will do that as well, but not to the extent that cardio training does. So cardio training is very important for that as well. Supports weight loss and burning fat. There's so many podcasts out there that saying, oh, if you're doing cardio, stop. If you're over 50, stop. Just do strength training. That's how you're going to lose weight. Bullshit. You're not going to lose weight by just doing strength training. And it's about the balance. That's what we're talking about today. It's about the balance. Then it supports and increases your lung capacity, which cardio cannot do. Yes, there's a matter of cardio that we do in Weights Functional Friday. That is cardio weights. So you're doing a little bit of cardio, but it's not enough to necessarily make such a big difference like cardio does. And then the point I wanted to highlight here was it enhances recovery from strength training. That's why you need both. So your cardio assists in those muscles recovering from strength training. Okay, so the two really work together hand in hand. Stretching, it improves flexibility, range of motion. So I know I hate stretching. A lot of you will know that I always say, if I'm not teaching the class, I would not be doing the class because I don't like it. I don't like stretching, but it really is so good for you. It really works in a lot of beneficial ways for your joints, for your movement, for your mobility as we get older. It enhances muscle function, coordination. It reduces muscle tension and stiffness. It supports better posture. Then the point I wanted to highlight here is that it decreases the risk of injury. So my father at the age of 65, well, he's very fit, he's just run a marathon, he's fit, he can play soccer with the kids and ran and tore a hamstring. Why? Because he never stretches. So he's fit and strong, but everything is so tight and tendons are so tight that you tear when you do something explosive. That is why we do stretching. The most important part for me is to decrease your risk of injury. It enhances your performance and recovery. That's why a lot of you come to the stretch class on a Saturday, to chill, to relax, to recover. It improves blood flow, promotes relaxation, stress relief. My voice makes you all calm with the music.
Yes. Yes.
Especially my bedroom voice that I have lately. Do I put you all into a trance? Please don't stay awake today, okay? It improves your quality of sleep. They say if you can have a 5-minute stretch routine before you sleep at night, before you get into bed at night, it'll actually help you sleep better. So I have made some stretch videos in the past, so I must actually do that again. To just do a couple of stretches before you get into bed at night. And then it reduces chronic pain and helps maintain mobility as you age. Arthritis, inflammation. I struggle with arthritis. I've been diagnosed probably at the age of 40 with arthritis. So I've had to manage that, and movement helps. So strength training helps to strengthen the joints, and stretching helps to get that movement in the joints. So it is very good. While I'm here, I quickly want to show you a video. Let's just see. Why is it not?
Chat het die wifi gesteel.
I just realized I left my notebook at home to say in what order the videos need to go. So let me see if I can remember the order. Probably not.
Die man is ook nog maar aan die op die grond voel beter as ek so rarig. Ek is goed gedaan.
Ek dink dan ek kan dit kry. Dan wat vir my is baie Gou hê. Ek het my net gedoen vir die dag, maar ek het relax en dan werk by hier.
Sy maar dit is so goed vir
Want hy is al reg.
Ja,
Is a speaker
I
on?
did. This is pretty much a Russian
Speak on.
It's in my train right
Thanks.
before. I still got touchy strapping. So I gewoond aan sprints nog. En dan sprak hy, want ek weet hoe belangrijk is dit om injuries te probeer. So hy het resultaat voor. So hy is waar, maar hy was gewoond gespeel. En hy is hulle het laas sy game gewys, die het gesê dan nou, these man is sure, he's almost 50. I'm like, he's 52.
Ever wonder what's really happening when you stretch? It's not just about pulling on your muscles. When you hold,
Okay. So this is the stretch. The videos might be all
you
you
can be
McCall.
train hard and still gain.
Stop. Okay. How do I get out of that? Let's go. Slide. Okay, there we go.
Ever wonder what's actually happening inside your muscles when you work out? It's not just magic. It's a 3-step process. Breaking down and
Wat goed aan my, as jy so vir jou kan wys wat binne gebeur.
Ever wonder what's really happening when you
There's a
stretch?
stretch one.
It's not just about pulling on your muscles.
Watch what the
When you
stretching
hold
does.
this stretch, you're actually elongating the protective tissues around your muscle fibers and tendons. Think of it like a rubber band, but one that gets a little easier to stretch each time. For a few minutes, you'll have a better range of motion, but for long-term flexibility, your body does something amazing. With a consistent stretching routine, your muscles start adding new sarcomeres, tiny contracting units. This is your body adapting to the new length so you can maintain strength and flexibility. Remember, there are different types of stretches. Dynamic stretches, where you're moving, and static stretches, where you hold a position. Both are great. So, is it worth it? Absolutely. A good stretching routine can help reduce the risk of muscle injuries and improve your overall movement. But be careful not to overdo it. Ready to get flexible? Start with just 10 minutes a day. You've got this.
So that's just an idea with regards to the stretching, and that is my problem, is I overdo it. So because I have to teach 4 classes a day, that's why I do it for one day and get it over and done with. But that's why I often, it's not because I'm loafing that when I stop, but you can actually overstretch. But none of you are running that risk. You'll all be fine, don't worry. Okay, muscle and bone. Our muscle would be nothing if we didn't have bone. Imagine your body without bone. So there's a direct talking to each other that muscle and bone does. And that's why building muscle strengthens your bone, because they're directly talking to each other. It all helps with movement. It makes, they say muscle is the most protective tissue in the body, because your muscle protects everything inside of you. I have fallen so many times on a mountain bike and I've never broken a single bone. I've snapped a tendon, but I haven't broken a bone. So I believe it's because of my cross training and also doing the strength training, which assists to make the bones more protective, stronger. Your organs, your muscles protect everything, so it's very important to build that muscle. It fights insulin resistance when estrogen walks out the door, because that's when a lot of us are at. is we're starting to lose estrogen, which is such an important hormone for ladies, not only also for men. You'll be surprised that men also need estrogen. It aids against inflammation. And then they say that you ideally want to build muscle between 35 and 45 to help you into your 50s. Some of us have been doing that, some of us have not been doing that. In the end, it's never too late. They've done studies on women of the age of 70 starting strength training for the first time in their lives, and that they see an increase in their bone strength and bone density and quality of life overall. So it's never too late to start, but ideally the sooner you start, and that's the problem we all have, is we reach the age of our 50s or 60s and then we hit a wall, there's high blood pressure, or there's some health condition that makes you think, oh, I probably have to do something about this. And then they start exercising. And it's not about, of course I want you guys to stay here, but it's not about keeping you here, it's about keeping you fit. So even if you do leave, you have to be able to do a fitness regime every single day. You have one rest day, one. That's what it should be like. Obviously at different intensity, but yeah, I'm going ahead of myself. So one of the main sites where blood cells are built happens in your pelvis. Okay, so blood cells are built in soft tissue. So anything where there's the ribs have a soft tissue, the sternum, vertebra, skull, but where there's bone marrow, that's where blood cells are being made. So 40 to 50% of women will have low density bone. Men's not as much. Unfortunately, women are more prone because we lose estrogen so rapidly. And then 50% of the time, you will break a bone. So 50% of you that is sitting here will break a bone in your life. Or you could be the healthy 50%.
I got this 50%.
The 50% out there. And then 50% of those will break a hip bone. And 30% of women that break a hip bone die within a year. 30% of women that break a hip bone or a pelvis. So we don't want to be that. That's why we are part of the exercise club. Because we don't want to be there. But that's the stats.
That's true. My mom broke her hip when she died.
Is it?
Yeah, they get massive loss.
Because they can't treat
How old was she?
75.
Okay. That's young. That's young. So unfortunately, us ladies,
Muscle loss, massive muscle loss.
yes, the muscle loss, as well as the fact that because it's one of the major areas where blood cells are being formed, and now it's weak, it weakens the whole body. So that is why when we do those stretch and stability classes and we do those little pulses, everyone's like, please don't say the word pulse. When I say the word pulse, people want to die. You want to swear at me.
Hold it there.
Hold it. So when we do those small movements, those hip raises, it's those little exercises, especially men don't like doing it, but at the end of the day, that's going to strengthen your hip joints. It's very important. We actually do it too little. I should do more hip exercises. Okay, moving on from there. So now, so we've gone through, so I know the Pilates, luckily there's no Pilates teachers here, but the Pilates teachers will hate me for saying that Pilates or yoga. I better be careful here because you have to stand in for me when I'm away. It's not going to make you strong. It's not going to help your bone density. It's not. Okay. Pilates is great, and I hear so many women say, but I do Pilates. Yes, it's great, but it's not going to make you strong, and it's not going to help you live longer, and it's not going to help your bone density. Pilates is like stretching. It assists the muscle joints. It helps you stretch. It helps you be flexible. It makes your range of movement better. It's not going to make you strong for when you're 80 one day. Ligaments, tendons, we've spoken all about that, range of movement. Okay, I'm going to move on from there, we've done that. Now, cardio, it builds VO2 max, which is your lung capacity. Your VO2 max is the rate that your body takes oxygen into your bloodstream. That is something that you want to improve on. The lower your heart rate is, the more fit you are. So if you've got a smartwatch and you sleep with it at night, check what your heart rate was in the morning. At this stage, I must say, I think my lowest is going like 52, where I used to be 45 at my fittest. So just think of it, your heart is a muscle. So the harder it works, it's like it can only pump that many times in your lifespan. So the fitter you are, the slower it pumps, the longer it can pump. So that's my theory. Make it work less. You don't want your heart to work that hard. I won't say what happens when I train and when I do swimming, then it catches up all that heartbeats. It helps to control fat, weight loss, combined with strength training. It preserves muscle while losing fat. Combined with strength training, it preserves your muscle and lose fat. And then heart disease, stroke, all of those other things we spoke about already. Then another thing is that there's the circadian rhythm, which they talk about, which is your 24-hour cycle. Some people go heavy on your circadian rhythm, and they say that cardio assists with that. It helps you with sleeping at night, being awake during the day. So exercise in general, I think, will aid in that. Now, strength training, I want to actually, so with strength training, we're going to go deeper into this, but you need to have adaptive stress, which means how much stress you're putting onto the muscle or the load, and ensuring high intensity output and low intensity polarization. So you want to have both. You want to have high intensity, but you also want to have low intensity when it comes to strength training. A lot of women will only want to do low intensity because that's where the fat burn happens. But if you just stay low intensity, the amount of calories that you're going to burn is nothing, and you're not surprising your body at all. So it's very important to keep low and high intensity with your strength training. In the middle years, you can get away with pretty much anything. I don't think anyone's in their 30s. Jy is ook al 40, nee? 38. Okay. We got a 30s. Everyone else is above 30. But most jy van,
Hulle is ook van
39. Nog 'n derde is.
Hulle kan met alles wegkom.
Between and I think julle al twee is van daai aard wat ek weet, but between 35 and 45 is the most important time to do your strength training. But you can also get away with pretty much anything. You can still do a little bit high, a little bit low, a little bit. You don't have to have such a strength. You get away with a lot more than when you're older. But the sooner we start the habit, the better chance we'll carry it through. Now, going on to strength training. There's 3 ways of changing a muscle, okay? Because that's what we're doing in strength training. We want to change the muscle. You can put it under stress, tension, and damage. Now, damage sounds weird, but that's when you are tearing the muscle. That's like, if you want to grow, what a bodybuilder does is they tear the muscle, it forms protective tissue which makes it bigger. So you're actually tearing the muscle. Tension is strength training, so you're putting it under tension, but it's not necessarily as intense. And then stress is like cardio, so it's putting your system under stress. So it's functional Friday, where your heart rate will go up. The rest is shorter, it's more a cardio kind of workout, but you are using weights. I'll show you a video now with the damaging, it sounds terrible, but it's not. So getting strong is a neurological process. So it's your brain sending messages to your muscle. That's why it helps to prevent Alzheimer's and brain diseases. And you can build new neural paths. So I only started cycling at the age of 40. And I was so bad, I would stop and walk over a bridge because I was fearful. But besides that, I didn't have the skill. I'd been spinning for 10 years, and these guys in my spinning class said, "Oh, you'd be a great cyclist, come cycle with us." So they borrowed me a bike. I've never been on a bike, besides riding as a child. And they take me out on the trails, and I fall 9 times. And I blew we met in the Lord Charles parking lot, and I fell. And I had no skin on my knee. That's how it started. I should have known. Then after that, I fell 9 times, and I was like, I never want to do this ever in my life. And for 2 years, I didn't get back on the bike again until I actually met someone that would actually teach me in the right way to do it. And then I became one of the top women. So I came from nowhere, but I had to reprogram my brain. I had to build new neural paths. We can do that with strength training as well. So getting strong improves coordination. You'll see I do a lot of combination movements, upper body and lower body, when we do our strength training. If you want to grow a muscle specifically, you need to increase the muscle fibers. I'm going to show you the video now. You need to tear the muscle fibers. Now, there's something that they call a 1 rep max in the strength or bodybuilding industry. Ricky might know more than I do in this instance. So it's the maximum weight you can lift or squat or press for 1 rep. But you have to have the right posture. So it doesn't help you trying to push and you going all over the show for doing a bench press. So it's about how much you can do with the correct posture. And that can be debatable about what is the correct posture. That's why I've never made you guys do it, because I also don't want to injure you. I want you to injure yourself. So, but if you would think of what the maximum is, so if you want to grow a muscle, it's isolated movements. You will go more towards the 80% of your max. Of your 1 rep. So for example, I can curl 10 kilograms. So for 1 rep. I can't do more than that without opening my elbows. Then you want to say, I'm going to use 80% of the 10 kgs. That's for building muscle. You go 80, you could even go more with the 80. And then you have to do 5 to 15 sets per week. So now, for example, we do a deadlift in one of our circuits. We do 4 rounds. So we're using glutes and hammies. So for glutes and hammies, if I want to grow my glutes and hammies, I need to do 5 to 15. 5 is like base. 5 you're just going to maintain. You want to get closer to 15 sets a week. So that's where it comes in. If I have a one-on-one client and I work out a program for that one person specifically, I make sure they say to me, I want to grow better arms. I make sure that I get 15 sets. So that would be 8 reps, 6 to 8 reps, and 15, but in a week. So it sounds technical. Don't worry too much about that. It sounds very technical. But that's kind of like where I'm getting at with you guys. It's difficult because it has to be a general program for everyone. But some weeks you'll find like, oh, my hammies are a lot more sore. Or, oh, what if we do shoulders? So that is where I'm getting at, working on focus areas of the body to do enough to build muscle in that area.
Maar selfs jou strengthklasse weet ek jy die hele week geoefen aan 'n spier en dan gaan hy weer. Hulle weet nie dit nie,
maar jy weet dit want jy because you have the knowledge. you might think differently of the sessions going forward. When you add speed, you go at a 60 or 70% of your max, and you do it as fast as possible. So say for example, I can do a 10 kg max. So 50% of that is a 5. So let's say I'm going to take a 6. But I'm going maximum speed. And you go, that's what I often say to you guys, up until failure. So failure is, I cannot do anymore. It's safe to say, okay, go 2 to failure or 3 to failure. So you stop just before you think you're going to fail. Those people that have been with me for longer that I know, I can say push till failure. but that is what's important. So let me just quickly show you the video of the tearing of the muscles. Yeah, it's this one.
You wonder what's actually happening inside your muscles when you work out? It's not just magic. It's a 3-step process of breaking down and building back stronger. First, when you lift weights or challenge your muscles, you're creating tiny microscopic tears in the muscle fibers. Now this sounds bad, but it's actually the spark that ignites growth. Second, your body senses this damage and goes into full-on repair mode. It sends healing cells that not only patch up those tears, but they overcompensate, rebuilding the fibers thicker and stronger than before. That's the secret. It's adapting to be ready for the next challenge. But here's the part most people forget. This repair process can't happen without the right fuel and the right amount of rest. You need protein to give your body the actual building blocks for new muscle. And most of this rebuilding happens while you're sleeping. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're literally robbing yourself of gains. So the ultimate formula for muscle growth? Challenge your muscles, feed your body, and get your rest. Now you know the secret. What are you training today? Let me know in the comments. Ever wonder what's...
Okay, so that's what actually happens, is that you're actually tearing the muscle fibers, but you need fuel, protein. That's why we go on about protein, and sleep. And that, for a lot of us, is a problem, especially going into menopause and all the issues we have, is we don't get enough sleep. Okay, so that's very important. That's when your muscles actually grows, when you sleep. Now,
How you feel more sore 2 days after a workout?
so 2 days after,
You crush a leg day on Monday, but Wednesday is when you can barely walk down the stairs. What's actually going on? It's not what you think. First, when you work out, you create those tiny microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. This is the challenge, the spark for growth. But here's the key. That damage itself isn't what you feel. Now for decades, everyone blamed this soreness on lactic acid. This is completely wrong. Lactic acid is cleared from your muscles within an hour of exercise. It is not the culprit. The real secret is what happens next. This is DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness. Your body senses all that micro damage and goes into full-on repair mode. Ever wonder why you feel more sore 2 days after a workout, but not right away?
I don't feel personally that they explain it well enough, and I'm not sure if I agree with it. I haven't done enough research into lactic acid and all of those type of things, but it's a nice idea to think about, because that is what has happened, is your muscles have torn, and that process of rebuilding needs to happen. That's just something little interesting there. Okay, so now, just going on to strength versus muscle growth. So, if you want to grow a muscle, you will strengthen the muscle. But if you are strengthening the muscle, you're not necessarily growing the muscle. Okay, so there's a big difference between strength and growth in a muscle. A bodybuilder, or if you're wanting, my son's into gains, you'll naturally strengthen the muscle if you're wanting to build. But through our strength training, you're not necessarily going to build muscle. And that's often where ladies make the mistake, is they think that they're going to now become bulk and big. You're not. Strength training is not going to make you look like the CrossFit girls.
The Hulk.
The Hulk. So unless you actually, and unless I know one of you would like Stacey. Stacey is one of the very few examples that she's so skinny she just needs to pick up weight and muscle, and majority of us ladies still have a little bit of body fat that we can lose. Even I have a bit that I can lose. So in that instance, Stacey, I have brainwashed. I have trained to actually train in a way to build muscle specifically. We don't want her to lose. But for all of us, unless you come to me and tell me I want to build muscle, so yes, you can build muscle. Have you looked at those CrossFit girls? How do they look? Yeah. Why? Because they're building muscle, but they're not burning the fat. So everything just gets bigger. So for me, there's a very fine balance between, yes, we want to build the muscle, but at our age, what's more important is that we strengthen the muscles. Unless you say to me, listen, Suzette, I want to build, then I'll go, sure, let's do it. I can guide you on that. But 99% of us women want to strengthen our muscles, not necessarily build our muscles. So there's a big difference between that. So moderate to heavy weights can increase muscle strength. How do we grow a muscle? You keep it under tension. So most of these things will work for anything. So let me not try and pick up a heavy weight, let me do a lightweight. So for example, if we are doing, controlling the negative is a big thing, and I've been speaking to you guys about it while we are doing the exercise. And that is something that I try and teach children from a young age because they don't get it right. Even the kids that train with me, Manette's son and daughter trains here. Her daughter is a little bit older, so she gets it right better than her son does. And she knows that I often have to correct it because they'll do a curl, but then they'll fall. They don't control the negative. Okay, imagine I'm doing a bicycle or if I'm doing a push, they have this, they don't control the negative. So your negative is way more important. So it's your eccentric and your concentric. So concentric, I'm contracting. Eccentric, I'm going down. So up you can go fast because you can control that. But the down, we slow down to control. And that's also when you start to use your core. So up and the down, you can slow down. And if you're doing that more consciously, you will grow and strengthen your muscle, especially on the negatives. So there's times like when we use the cable machine where I say to you, when you curl, I'm trying to think what it is. I think it's the back. Yeah. So when we do that chest press with the pulley machine, then we go there, and then I see this happening. So you're actually not controlling the negative with your arms. You're just going with what the machine is doing. So there's little things like that that is really important for your posture and to grow the muscle or control the muscle. Full range of movement is the other thing. So sometimes you intentionally not train the full muscle, but for me it's more important for us in general fitness to actually train the full muscle. So what happens is if I'm doing a bicep curl, sometimes the weight is too heavy, then this happens. Okay, we're not doing a full extension. So yes, you're working the muscle, but you're only working a part of the muscle. You're not working the full muscle. That's when I say all the way down, all the way up. Okay, so that's often what happens, is especially if we're going too heavy, then we can't do the full range of motion. And then you need to push hard and get close to failure. A lot of ladies like to stay in their comfort zone. Although I must say, I think we've created a culture of pushing each other harder. So even when those that don't like it are now starting to work harder. Oh, so wil net lig the weights then. Oh, the weights. Even, and as much as I would have liked to tell, I have told Nicola you must go heavier, but then some of you will tell her to go heavier and then she'll listen to you, but she won't listen. Peer pressure. So, yeah, so we have
There's a bully culture.
a bullying culture. You get bullied so much that you come back. So, we have to get out of our comfort zone, ladies, and that's where they're like, oh, but I don't want to get big. You're not going to get big. I won't let you get big. You can't get big.
Kan nie.
You have to train a lot. And if you want to get big, it's going to take you 2 years to get big. For someone to train, especially a lady, if you want to train to become a bodybuilder, it's going to take you 2 years of
Baie shapes.
exact training and exact. You will never get there. You won't bulk. You won't get big. Okay. And then progressive overload. That is what we're all doing. Round 1, easy. Round 2, a little bit more. Round 3, a little bit more. And it's good to remember. I know a lot of you forget. You can't remember what was your max bench press or what. But it's good to know that this is what I did now a month later. That's what I tried to do with the chicken challenge, with the push-ups. And we never did, some of you didn't do the second round. Karis did 1 in the first round.
I'm sure I should have won that challenge.
I think so. You ended with 5 or something. Because you want to see progress. And to see progress, we have to do progressive overload. Progressive overload can happen in a session, but also in a month. So in a session, we start light. Why start light? If you want to build, they say you can go heavy from the first round. But because we're all older, we don't want to injure ourselves. That's why I always say, take the first round as a warm-up round, do it light, then go heavy. And then you can progress every round, or go heavy for all the rounds if you're wanting to build. Like Stacey, I would say, you go your heaviest weight all the 3 rounds. The first round easy, all the others you go heavy. But for most of us that are just building strength, a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier, a little bit, but it's important to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. Then, yes, progressive. So if you, there's something that's called a stimulus versus fatigue ratio. So a stimulus means you are activating that muscle. And the fatigue is, so it's a positive and a negative. So if I'm doing a deadlift, I am doing a good exercise, but I'm also fatiguing my body. Some exercises, that fatigue level is higher than others. So that's why with some exercises you'll feel like, oh, I can do 50 of these, and others you can only do 1 or 2. So you want to kind of get a balance of getting the best stimulus with the least fatigue. And then that's a good balance. For doing, if you're doing quite a few days. If you've only got 3 days a week, then you can change that and get the balance, having a bigger stimulus with a bad fatigue. But in general, you don't want your fatigue to be too much. Anyway, if you have questions on that, we can go into that, but for now. So if we have to look at it, how, they say you have to decide what is your goal. If you are training to be a peak performance athlete, you're going to train in a certain way. You can't just do what we are doing. You're going to have to train a lot harder, sacrifice a lot of things, and you might not live as long. Or you can train, there's people that want to train to live long. So they only eat certain things, they only train a certain way because they want to live long. For most of us, we want to have a good health span and live in a wellness and a nice, comfortable old age at 80. So what is your goal? In different stages of your life, your goal will vary, but I think for most of us, we want to be fit and healthy. And then in that thing, in that case, balance is the key. And that is why I do cardio, strength, and stretch. For me, those are the most, you have to have a balance of each. The spinning is there for the cardio, the strength is here, and we do the stretch. So you can have a nice, well-balanced exercise plan. There's that thing about not staying in moderate intensity. You need to make sure that you have high intensity workouts and lower intensity workouts. Your goal should be to train 5 to 6 days a week. That doesn't mean high intensity, 5 to 6 days a week. If you go for a walk, that can also count as one of your low intensity. So the polarization you need. You need high intensity and you need low intensity. And a rest day. One day you can rest. The rest you have to work hard. Okay. Recovery gets harder as we age, but that is why your sleep is important, and that's why your lower intensity workouts are good. But you can't just stay in that zone. You're not going to see any improvement if you stay in a moderate or easy zone. Sprinting in jumping, very good for bone density, good for joints. I've had a 70-year-old start a box jump on a step, and she could never box jump before. So it's important that obviously you all have different levels. Jumping is important as we age, very important for our joints. Sprinting, getting that heart rate up. Now, 2 to 4 days, heavy weights. If you're doing heavy weights, it's in the 6 to 8 rep range. That'll be for building. And then 10 to 12 will be for fat burn. If you want to get into technicalities of how we structure the workout, then you can come and chat to me about that. But I try and do a balance of that. But you can decide, I'm training 4 times this week. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have 1 heavy day to maybe build a little bit of muscle, and 3 days where I'm going to train at a higher intensity but for strengthening the muscle, not necessarily for building the muscle. And then you have your stretch day. So you need to plan, and if you need help with that, chat to me and we can work out a plan how your week looks. And then 1 to 2 high cardio days. Spinning.
And what else?
So you're
Running.
Longer.
Cycling.
What about walking?
What about
Walking.
First walking.
Walking.
Yeah, if your heart rate is going up,
What's swimming?
at least 80% of its max. So your maximum heart rate would be 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate. 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. Then you want to train at least 80% for at least 30 minutes in 80%.
How many times a week?
1 to 2, I would say 2 twice. Yeah. If you can get that, if you can get your heart rate that high with swimming can also count. But anything in the gym, the steppers or if you can get your heart rate high for at least 30 minutes, then you are improving your cardiovascular system. Okay, that's what you want. Then let me just see what's losing fat. A lot of it, I'm not going to go too much into losing fat. A lot of it is what your body composition is about. It's about your genes. We all have a certain area. Some of us have the problem here. Some of us have the problem here. It's just a case of, and you can't choose where you lose the weight first. I would love to lose the weight first here and last here, but that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, it happens the other way around. So, men lose weight a lot quicker than women, unfortunately. Steph weighed in yesterday.
Want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I won't. I mean, he's the only guy, and he's not on about winning and whatever. He's just.
You can still get
He is in his heart is all about winning, as long as he beats guys.
No, he wants to beat my brother running in the mountain.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, look, Steph is looking amazing. I can't wait to take his after photo and put it next to his before.
How much has he lost?
He's lost 9 kilograms in a month.
Wow.
In a month. Yeah. Fasting.
Yeah.
He did some fasting. He kick-started it with a 3 days water fast and then went into this protein diet of mine. And he's just keeping on. But he is doing high intensity training.
Run up
Because he's
mountain
running-
to West Peak 4 times in 1 day.
Yeah, but he's training for a 100-kilometer race. He's training for a 100-kilometer
Like Suzette does
race.
like 500 kilometers, we're running straight 100 kilometers.
He's so intense from so fast on the fasting days, you won't necessarily train that hard. You can train. I've done 3-day fasts, but I will have soup at night just to have something. And I still train. You feel fatigue, yes, but hey, what's your goal? What do you want more? Then you're going to be tired for 3 days. No, it's how bad do you want it?
And I work with Steve, and I know he's sweet to me.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
It's a lot of discipline. I always tell people how bad you want it. If you want something really bad, you will do whatever it takes in whatever area of life. Whether it is something you need to achieve, studying, family, kids, whatever you want in life, I always say, how bad do you want it? If you really want something, you will do whatever it takes to get it. That's the only way I managed to be the only lady to cycle 500 kilometers in 24 hours. Because I wanted it bad enough. And I made sure that I got it. And then you do what you can. And there is obstacles along the way, and it's not easy, and it's a lonely road. It's often a lonely road. I'm sure for him running up that mountain 4 times, it takes you 10 hours running up and down a mountain. And it's a lonely road at the end. Everyone loves the victory when I finish, and that's the nice part. Doing the event is the nice part. It's all the preparation getting you there. Losing Karen, losing 35 kilograms. I mean, everyone's like, wow, and she's obviously self-conscious about some of the skin she's got and all that, but it's been a hard road. But she wanted it bad enough. And then you do what you need to do. You've been on a hard journey. Yeah, nobody regte persoon uitgekom, so I'm looking forward to seeing the results. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, visceral fat, that's the most important fat. That's a fat around our organs. That's the hardest fat to lose. That's what this amazing house bond machine of mine does. That's what it costs, the house bond. Yeah. But it gives you everything. It gives you your body fat, it gives you your muscle mass, your left, right. So your visceral fat is really, it's a hard fat to break down. It's mostly diet, unfortunately. And then the mix with cardio, more cardio, but mixed with cardio and weights. Body fat, weights can work a little bit of body fat, but when it comes to those internal fats, it is tough to lose that. Right, that's that. Let's move on. I don't want to stick too long. Hormones. Hormones, estrogen, progesterone, ladies. Oh, if you're a guy, please bear with your woman when she goes through those hard times of losing estrogen and progesterone. It regulates your glucose. We all know glucose, sugar, fat, mental, mood, all of that goes out the window. Bone health in ladies and men. So men also have estrogen in their bodies and progesterone. Ladies just sees the drop a lot more drastic. I'll show you a graph now. It regulates cholesterol. It promotes collagen production, which is for skin, hair, all those type of things we know. Estrogen supports testosterone production in men and women. As women, we also have testosterone. And sometimes we have too little. And that's also something to check out. I believe firmly in testosterone treatment for ladies. It helps you increase your mood, you feel better, it's an anti-natural, antidepressant. So it is something to, if you want to know more about that, you can chat to me. Women have a significantly higher chance of developing Alzheimer's. So that's a hard one. Men lose testosterone as they age, but they don't lose it at the rate that women lose estrogen. So unfortunately, we are a little bit disadvantaged in that. So here, if we look at bone mass with men and women, so you can see there we all peak at about 40, 35, 40. You peak with your bone growth. Then men have the advantage of getting a nice gradual slide down. We have a nice steep drop in that slide. We're on the roller coaster. And unfortunately, that is due to menopause and the loss of estrogen in our body. So it's very important that you do test that. And I know I'm not there yet. I have signs of it. I don't like labels. That's why when I did the 500 kilometers the first time, for me it was a case of, don't treat me different. I'm not a feminist. I'm all for, there's a space for men and there's a space for women. And I know we're the weaker sex, and I'm fine with that. But don't label me under something and say, well, you can't do that because you're a lady, or you can't do that, or you can't. And I feel the same about, I think a lot of women, yes, menopause is real, but don't be a victim of it. Yeah. Don't choose to say, oh, it's because of menopause. Yeah. Oh, I'm like this, oh, it's because of menopause. Do something about it. Find out. a lot of women are anti-treatment, and I think like, yeah, you know, weigh up your pros and cons. It has an effect. I have friends that achieve amazing results being on treatment, you know. So you have to weigh up what's best for you, and I can't be that person to tell you what's best for you. You know what's best for you. But if you choose to not get help, then don't complain about it. You know, don't say, oh, it's because of menopause that I'm fat, or it's because of menopause that I can't sleep. Oh, I can't train because of menopause. Don't use a label. You can achieve anything. You put your mind to it. I'm going to show you a video soon about something like that. So, just regards to the normal woman hormone cycle, if you still have your period, you ovulate, if you're according to the textbook, halfway. So you have a cycle of 28 days. On day 14, you're supposed to ovulate. We're not all the textbooks, so everyone's not the same. But they say you train, or you are the strongest 5 to 7 days before ovulation. Jy weet meer van dit. So jy moet vir my sê as ek iets verkeerd sê.
Dit's alles reg.
Sterretjie vir my.
Behalwe dat vrouens nie altyd die teksboek lees nie, hulle datums is almal anders.
Dis die ding.
Maar so min of
So that is when you're going to be the strongest. The Ricky actually wanted them to organize the D4D so that I'm at the strongest point of my cycle. They need to arrange it around me. Some women feel really good during ovulation, some feel really bad, some feel the pain. I can feel I only do it from one ovary, so it's actually the sac that the egg comes in bursts. So some people actually feel that pain. If you're very in touch with your body, you will. Then day 60 to 22 is up and down. Day 24 to 27, you experience that PMS where you want to strangle your husband and your kids. Then, so what I'm trying to say is listen to your body. It's okay to not feel good today, as long as you don't not feel good every week. You know, it's okay. We all have an off day, and you need to go and sit in a corner and cry. But make sure you get up and kick your ass and carry on. Don't do it every week. I have women that just have an excuse every week. Like,
And what about us who no longer ovulate? I know that you still have like a cycle if you...
Most of the hormones don't go away completely, so you'll still have estrogen and progesterone, and you just need to look after it. So it's a different organ that takes over the work. So on top of your kidneys, there's an organ that will start taking over the job, so you still have it. You don't feel the pain of the egg bursting, you don't go through all the emotions. Everything is a little bit more like this.
So then you can't use it as an excuse.
I was also asking when's my good time to train.
Yes, a good time to train.
The good time for training, that's the lovely thing when all the periods and hormones are gone. Every day is a good day. You don't have any excuse actually.
Yes, you train very hard. Yeah. Okay, and then the importance of rest and sleep is the last one. We can't achieve anything without sleep, and I preach to myself because I've been sleeping so bad. They say things you need to do: go to bed at the same time every night. You need to get 7 to 9 hours. Stay within your circadian rhythm. So I'm a night owl. I could go late at night, but then leave me to sleep till 10 o'clock the next morning, and that's not healthy. So yeah, that's your circadian rhythm. Go to bed when it's dark, wake up when it's light. Age plays a factor. We know menopause plays a factor in that. We had that conversation how we struggle to sleep. Maybe Ricky's got some advice on sleeping. Strong pills. Gummies! Yes! Okay. Then, just when it comes to rest in between reps, if you're building muscle, you need to rest in between your sets. So that's why it irritates the shit out of us when we walk in a gym and there's all these guys and they're taking photos and they're chatting to each other, and you're like, are you actually doing anything? but they have those muscles, they do get the muscles somehow. So they do train,
Somehow.
yes. But they train less than what they talk and rest. There's some method in the resting in between. Okay, so it's very good to rest 2 to 3 minutes in between sets. And we like talking, so I think we get enough rest in between our sets as well. How do you test your recovery? So this is just an interesting experiment I want to tell you about. So how do I know when I wake up tomorrow morning, have I rested enough? Can I actually train to? So there's different ways. So a lot of these watches has your HRV, I'm not going to go into that right now, but then there's a strength test. So they say when you rested, you get those strength quickies, but besides that you can actually press a scale and see what is your force on a scale. When you rested, okay? And then you train or whatever, and when you wake up in the morning, it's not going to be as strong as when you've had your coffee and your whatever, but to see what your strength is pressing down, and then you know what it was when you were rested. Okay, this is a better way though. So, carbon dioxide tolerance. This is what you do. You wake up in the morning and you take a deep breath in through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. You do that 4 times. On the 5th time, you take a deep inhale. Then you release the air slowly as if you are blowing through a straw. Okay? So you go. So as slow as possible. You do it as slow as possible. If you can, if it's less than 25 seconds, then you are not recovered.
Oh nou, Soos, dat gaan jy nooit kom nie.
So you start. Ek het hom getoets, ek kan dit doen.
Wow.
Maar nie so erg nie. 30 to 60 seconds is green zone. And anything above is like you are a superhuman almost. So you start the clock as soon as you start your exhaling. And a lot of us can have all the air out and still hold your breath. It's not about holding your breath. It's when you actually stop exhaling that air, then you stop the clock. Okay. So you can't just like hold your breath. Okay. It's actually while you're blowing, that's why you need to blow the air out very slowly. And that is a way that you can know whether you are recovered to train for that day.
O môre blaas almal en dan wil hulle
Almost set them up. Then cold plunging helps recovery. That's why we added it in this challenge. I'm not even going to go into that. We've had the cold plunge people here. We'll do it again next year. Because I know a lot of people didn't get that one. But cold plunging helps recovery. Really good. She experienced it in your knee joints. The day she didn't plunge, her knees were sore the next day. So yeah. And then salt helps a lot. Jy weet dalk meer van dit. And creatine, we all know, helps with that as well.
recovery, ja. Al die menopause vrouens.
Yes. So, I just quickly to finish off, because I don't want to keep you much longer. I just want to show you, I had the videos on specific spots, but now
What type of salt?
Hey,
What type of salt?
any salt.
Any salt.
Combination of potassium and sodium and magnesium. Because you can't just take the one because it doesn't absorb the other one. So potassium, magnesium and sodium.
Is that speaker on? I don't know what's
Dat is een nieuwe
They
zoutvaar.
gaan slaap.
It's like a rehydrate, but without all the funny sugars and all kinds of this.
And still gaining fat. If this one hormone, you can eat clean, train hard, and still gain fat. If this one hormone's out of balance. It's not your diet, it's your cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When you're overworked, underslept, or training too much, it spikes. And when it stays high, your body holds on to fat, especially around your waist. Here's what happens. Your brain releases cortisol to give you quick energy. If you don't use it, it gets stored as fat. Even worse, high cortisol breaks down muscle, slowing your metabolism. And that's why you can feel stressed and stuck, no matter how clean you eat. The fix? Sleep 7 to 8 hours. Take one rest day and do slow breathing or a walk after training. It lowers cortisol fast. Remember, fat loss isn't just calories, it's chemistry. Control your hormones and your body finally listens. Follow for more science-based fitness tips.
So that's just something I wanted to say about stress. And that's where men often struggle with waist fat, visceral fat, because it is shown that men do stress more than ladies do. So they providers, they have to look after their families. But you don't stress, you drink enough wine not to stress.
Need the fifth on that one.
So, yeah, I can give credit where credit's due, and I know guys stress a lot more than ladies do. But we all do, we all have stress. So that is a big factor in storing fat, is stress, not sleeping, and those type of things.
From now on, this is my cortisol.
Then what was this one?
What happens to your body when you start exercise?
Did you see that one?
In just the first 10 minutes, your heart rate jumps and blood flow increases. Your body sends oxygen straight to your muscles. After about 30 minutes, your body begins burning stored fat for energy, and your brain releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that fight stress and boost your mood. Stick with it for a few weeks, and your muscles grow stronger, your stamina improves, and daily tasks feel much easier. Even your brain changes. Regular exercise improves memory, focus, and lowers your risk of anxiety and depression. And here's the big one. Over time, your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers drops dramatically. Bottom line, exercise isn't just about looking fit. It literally rewires your body and brain to be healthier and happier. So, when's your next workout? So,
and then there's just look at this. What happens when you stop exercising?
Body when you stop working out? You might be surprised to hear it's not all bad. For the first few days, your body goes into super repair mode. Think of it as a pit stop. Your muscles are actually getting stronger as they heal. After 2 weeks, you might feel a bit flat. That's not muscle loss. You're just losing water and glycogen. The good news? Your muscle memory is still there, so you'll bounce back fast. Okay, after a month, things get a bit real. Your heart, lungs, and endurance take a hit. Those easy workouts, yeah, they'll feel tougher. But here's the crazy part. Your immune system stays strong, and your brain remembers all those moves you learned. You won't forget how to do a squat, I promise. So, taking a break isn't starting from scratch. It's a reset. Your body is smarter than you think. Follow for more fitness.
So 2 weeks can do amazing stuff, and I've always felt, I think just because of from a business perspective, to give you guys quality, to be sending workouts and holidays and things like that, and you guys are very committed, which is amazing. But I'm actually going to force everyone in December to take 2 weeks off. You need to take time off. And I need to take time off as well. But even if a month, if you're not doing it, you'll feel it. Yeah, you're going to definitely, after 2 weeks, for 2 weeks you won't lose any muscle. You won't lose anything if you don't train for 2 weeks. Thereafter, the process is slowly decreasing. That's why before my 500 kilometers when I was sick, I just stopped exercising. Because it's not like I'm going to lose anything that I've built, and I'm not going to get majorly more fit in those 2 weeks. But from a month, you will feel it, but you will pick it up very quickly again. So if you've been out of it for a month because of some reason, yes, it's going to be hard, but you'll see within a week or two you're back to where you were. So that's ideally not where we want to go. And then lastly, to finish off with what I wanted to show you. Oh, why did I do that? This for me is one of the most motivating videos that I've ever seen. If you think that you can't achieve anything, or if you have a friend, I've got a friend that's really obese, and the mountain for her is just too big to climb. But this is just a little show of determination of what is possible if you actually put your mind to it. Look what this guy did. Maybe some of you have seen it. Determination of someone wanting to become something. Hey? Let's see.
Dis wat mense nie besef nie, dis jare.
Ja.
Gaan nie net van een.
2.5 years.
Ja.
Hard work, diet, exercise, 2 excess skin removals, bodybuilding prep. So it's not there's no quick fix. Amy, how much have you lost? 10.
Since July.
Yeah. Since July. Yeah. So it's not, there is no quick fix. And we all have our own personal goals. But I think the most important thing should be that I want to be 80 one day, and I want to be able to play with my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren, get up off the floor. So I think we had a wake-up call with some of the exercises we did this week. That roll back and stand up with the ball. It was fun. We need to do more stuff like that. Because that's our goal, is a good quality of life. Or that's my goal. And that's my goal for this gym. Yes, if you want to get fit, and if you want to be a bodybuilder, and if you want to get lean, yes, all of that adds. It adds. But our main focus should be that we want a good quality of life. So yeah, I don't want to keep you guys too long. You're welcome to ask me questions or come to me and ask me questions. I will print this out as well if you guys want the slides. But if there's anything specific that you'd like to ask, feel free to do so. Yes.
For 2 weeks, how often? How often in a year should you take a 2 week
2
break?
weeks. It depends on the intensity of your training, I would say. Personally, I would probably say once or twice a year. But that's just me. That's just me. You know what? You need to, if you have cycles, so in your training, and that's why some weeks you guys are more stiff than other weeks. So there's cycles of working hard and cycles of easier, where you might say, oh, you were easy on us today, kind of thing. So if you have good cycles of balance, of the polarizations of easy weeks and harder weeks, sometimes I feel like we're doing too many hard weeks, because it's almost like if you're not stiff, you think you didn't work out, and that's not true. You don't always have to be stiff. So in what we are doing, I would say 2 or 3 times a year your 2 weeks break. I wouldn't do it too often. If you've got a good balance of high and low intensity workout, you can sustain it. Yeah. Anything else for now? Not all good.
It was amazing.
Yeah, very interesting.
Good. Have more champagne. There's lots. Well, yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for coming.
Dankie Sue.
Yeah, see you